Now, as we've been saying, there is a growing humanitarian crisis on both sides, not only in Syria, but also at the Turkish-Greek border. Let's get some perspective on the refugee issue by speaking with Rachel Sider. She's from the Norwegian Refugee Council. Ms. Sider, thank you very much for joining us on TRT World. First of all, just your response, if you can, to the situation on the Turkish-Greek border and those 59 MEPs who've called for Greece to abide by international law.
Sure. So what we know is that about 10 to 15,000 people have coalesced on the border between Greece and Turkey, mainland Greece that is, and are seeking to enter Greece. The issue right now is that they are entitled to asylum and they are very much at risk of being pushed back. When Europe pushes asylum seekers back, this is a violation of the Refugee Convention. And these are people whose recent movement has been triggered in large part by the major escalation in violence in northwest Syria and the very evolving displacement situation that's taking place on the Syrian side of the border. So things are evolving rather quickly. We also hear from colleagues in Greece that there has been an uptick in new arrivals on Greek islands. Camps that are already overstretched and really strained in terms of services are now having to accommodate hundreds of new people, which is a major rise from the previous arrivals that we'd seen in earlier months this year.
Now, Rachel, there is of course a growing international call for there to be more help given to those refugees. The United Nations saying that all efforts should be doubled to make sure that people get the assistance they need. Do you think the international community is listening enough to the plight of these people?
Well, this is a really important lesson in responsibility sharing. So what we're seeing right now is a real lack of leadership among European states to take on some of the responsibility of offering asylum, not only to asylum seekers who have recently arrived, but also to those who've been stuck in Greece for a really extended period of time now. It's also a lesson in recognizing that we need to see Turkey allow refuge to those that continue to flee the violence in northern Syria. These are almost 1 million people, over half of them who are children, who are being squeezed increasingly further north towards the border with Turkey and really have nowhere else to go. This means that Europe and other states need to really help out by contributing support to allow Turkey and Greece and others to shoulder that responsibility of offering asylum and to providing the humanitarian assistance that will be required to accommodate those who are in urgent need now, but much longer into the future as well.
And Rachel, as you'll know, the past week or so, this migrant and refugee crisis has been taking on quite a different sort of flavour than the previous one. There's seemingly so much hostility especially from the Greek side towards these people. You will have seen the pictures from Lesbos as even locals there try and stop migrants from coming. Just where do you think this has got to in terms of many people's public feelings about the migrants who are seeking a better life and safety?
Well, it's really turned refugees into a bargaining chip in what is really, at the end of the day, a political game. It means that aid agencies that are on the ground in the Greek islands are finding it increasingly difficult to reach these people with basic household items, blankets, mattresses, tents, food, medical care. So it's really affecting the humanitarian response, and it's turning civilians into, very unfortunately, a political tool, and this has got to stop.
Rachel Sider from the Norwegian Refugee Council. I do appreciate your thoughts. Thank you very much for joining us.